Welcome. So, are you familiar with that song? No? No? What about you? You're familiar with that song? Yes. Have you been watching some of my YouTube? Or no? Also, without new.
See poster on West.
Okay. Okay. So, that song mean in Sanskrit. You want to come closer, or you're well here? You can stay here, should I? You can.
No, we
Yes,
can move
yes, more
closer,
comfortable. Yeah. You can stay back. Yes, no problem. Sat mean you can say the self or existence or the truth or yes. So and song mean to be with. So to be with that the being or the self that we are, because when we are identified with body mind, we might be feeling lost sometimes. My English is correct for you enough?
If it's still not enough,
You're from which country?
from Russia.
Both of you?
No,
Spain. Acha.
she's have nice English.
And you?
France.
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 I'm French.
Okay. English for me is.
So you can je suis français. Donc tu peux poser des questions en français. I will translate in English. Yes. So you will have double. No, but I will speak English.
I speak little Russian too.
So you are in between. Yes. So you understand little bit English?
Oui, oui, oui. Ouais.
Yes. Otherwise you can stop me, and I can translate, right? Or explain. Feel free, and we are a small group, so feel free. So I would start from the beginning, or even prior to the beginning. So you know the Bible, you heard about the Bible. So it is said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, right? So this word, we also say the Logos. We call it the Logos. It's expressed as light and sound, which has created everything. So it's like the creative power, the word. It's called also in some tradition the Shabd or the Nam, but it's the same creative power. So I call this the one. But this one came from where? Before the beginning. Was there something before the beginning? If we can speak like that. So we call it generally the absolute, or the absolute being, that what we are prior to any time and space manifestation. So we can call it the self, zero. I like to call it also the zero, because it's a zero notion. You cannot say anything about that. That what we are is undescribable. No words can say anything about it. But we try. But we fail all the time to describe what it is, what we are. But as a game, we because this realm of time and space and words, mind, cannot express another realm, another which is the self. The self is prior to any description. The mind cannot say anything. Like if you were asked to take a measurement of the Indian Ocean with a decimeter, we say no, I cannot. You know a decimeter? You say I cannot because it's too big, Indian Ocean. So it's just an image to say that the mind and the words cannot describe that, what we are. So what we can say about time and space, it's a frame, a theater, a scene where we experience something. But any experience need time and space to express itself. You understand that? Yes. So
Time and space, no,
le temps et l'espace.
ah oui, d'accord.
Pour expérimenter dans le temps et l'espace, chaque expérience a besoin du temps et de l'espace. Without time and space, no experience is possible. But if you question the very frame of time and space, is it real? That's where it starts to be interesting. Is it real? What appears to be real, is it real? So in English we say it's an assumption, une supposition en français. What appears to be real, is it real? The mind make an equation. What appears to be real is real. But then if you question, what appears to be real, is it really happening? So there is a way of questioning that. Like you heard about here and now. So when we try to go somewhere, there, when we reach there, it's like a mirage. It's like it seems to be real, but it's like an oasis in the desert. It's not. There is no water, no oasis. Also, there was an appearance, but when we approach, it disappears. So the same for tomorrow. When you arrive tomorrow, it disappears. It is always now. You cannot grasp tomorrow there. So if you see that time and space, you cannot. It seems to exist, but it's an appearance. So whatever appears in the time and space frame is also a mirage. So that's why we speak about neti in the Indian scriptures, and the sage speak about neti, not this, not that, not this, to deny any appearance in order to see what is left. If I deny this, that, neti, not this, not that, what is left? So what is left is prior to any experience. We call it the self, or the Buddha nature, or we could call it Christ or power, or whatever name you want to say. So, but any word will not touch it. So, if you see like this, the 0 and 1 in my vocabulary is the 1 is a person who came out first. It's even prior to the person is the word, the power, the first creative power came out of the absolute and created another 1 and a 2 and a 3 and right. But this 1 did not came alone. It came with a shadow of it, and the shadow is a feeling of a kind of sadness, or like the pain, a wound of existing. Because when you feel separate, you feel this sense of the need to reunite with what was lost. There is an appearance of being separated, and I want to unite, to be one with the beloved. It can be a man or woman, or it can be God. I lost God, I lost you, I want to unite with you. So this is the feeling of the one, and it will, in the samsara is the wheel of this transmigration in time and space, and this seems it will never stop. Sometimes we would wish that, I wish I would not exist. It's too difficult. I want to die. So who want to die? It's not really the physical body. It's I. I is suffering to be separate. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But sometimes, at some point, some soul want to finish it, to say, no, I want to go out of this wheel of transmigration and to be finished. So the real, even when people want to suicide, or it's not really about the physical body. The I is fed up and would like to cut it all. So, but behind, if you look, what it wants to cut is the feeling of separation and the need for love, the need for reunion. So, but this we can question from where this desire is coming. Desire for love, desire for to reunite. So there is this subject I, which tend to want to grasp another object to cancel it. Why I want a lady or ice cream or a car or money or power or anything, I feel incomplete, so I try to cancel this incompleteness, right? So this is origin of desire. It's starting from I and try to grasp an object. But if we learn to observe this desire from where it's coming from, and you bring back your attention to the center, to I, the subject, and you stay there, and you looking like a kind of meditation, we call this self-inquiry, from where this I is coming from, and like tracing, like where is the source of this I, where it's coming from, and you stay there. Because the habit is to go out on the periphery to catch outer object. But if you bring the attention, you have the power to bring back attention to here and to watch from where it's coming from. This is called self-inquiry. So this is kind of maybe last practice, we could say. So some people are more inclined to do that, or some people like more to do self-inquiry, to bhakti, devotion. Mean surrender to a higher power. I feel I could not succeed, I'm a failure, so I surrender to a higher power, God power or whatever. So this is called bhakti, devotion. So some people are mix both also, but the goal is the same, is to whether it is bhakti or self-inquiry, well, yearning, something in us is yearning to cancel this sense of separation and to feel full, or to feel oneself. But if you try and practice meditation, whatever you do, at some point you may realize that this one will never be able to really cancel this sense, because it belongs, the one belongs to the wheel of samsara, la roue de transmigration. Le un appartient à cette roue, and it will not be able to leave it because it belongs to it. Only what can happen, from my experience, is that the one is so tired and sees that he will never make it. It's like being a total failure, échec total. That's when the zero can recognize itself. What I call the inner ear. Beautiful. The peacock. Second time one peacock coming.
See in backyard.
It's coming around, yeah. So beautiful bird. Yeah.
Something in my bag for today.
Ah, the food. So that's when the one or the mind is enough tired, searching, seeking, practicing, then the self may recognize itself. So le soi reconnaît le soi. Could you, we have been a little bit interrupted, a nice visit. So, you want to give him? Yes.
You think
Banana. So maybe I can can ask you if you could follow, if you have any question or any, yes. So please.
No, now I don't have.
But I'm asking you, you can, because satsang is a place for bringing out some doubts or anything to clear Yes.
It's not a request. It's just a request. If you please can a little bit introduce yourself, where what has been taught you this life, what your experience, because the other words everyone say.
Sorry.
The other words are mostly like
Yes.
I'm interested more in what's your experience of all these applied in your life.
Yes. Okay.
Because we don't know. I think I don't know her, but the rest we don't know.
Yeah. I know someone little bit here, but yes, many people left from last week because I was in Sri Lanka also. So it's a kind of new group. Yes. So I've been. You want kind of what was my
Yes.
like
Who are
this?
you?
Yes.
You
So
are.
when I yes, so when I was younger, I'm still very young, but
Yeah, always.
yes, eternally young. So I was against, the society because I could not understand. I had that thought: if there is a God, I feel I'm better than him because this world is so bad. I would have make a world better than this, right? So when I was teenager and young, I was like this. So I was also in this kind of mood of I was playing in a rock band and nearly punk and really no future and like that. So I was already on my way, right? So because I could see from the mind point of view, it does not seem too good at all. All these people, what the world is going on like that. So for some time it was like that. Then I was by chance I was introduced first to Tai Chi to connect with the Tai Chi Chuan and meditation. So I was doing that intensively with Tai Chi Chuan, cleaning the system because I've been making this system a little bit dirty the years before that. And then I met an important meeting with a master who was teaching light and sound meditation, inner light and sound. And so this called Namdan in North India. Many people practice that. So you are given a mantra and you concentrate on the inner light and sound, which is the word from the Bible. This is creative power. But you are put directly in touch with this light and sound inside, and then you concentrate on that. So I've been following that, practicing that, doing many 100,000 of hours of this meditation, and I was also preaching in the name of the Guru of that time. Uh, and then he died, the first master died, and then there was a successor. Many stories and happening, and then I left the organization and I met recently in 2012 another teacher, Ishwa Puri, is Indian teacher from living in Chicago. Is 92 now. So, but what I did not tell you is to be in that practice. I came here in Tiru in 94 and I met the teaching of Ramana Maharishi and the Advaita and so on, right? So I had here already some insight, I can say, about self. It was like that. But then I went after that in this practice of light and sound. But this last teacher, he brought me back somehow. He made a joint between everything, seeing like the whole puzzle of practicing. And he said in a recent satsang some months back, whatever you reach, because in this practice with the light and sound, we are supposed to reach some level of consciousness, right? Many from body, physical body, astral, causal, super causal. Then the soul is free from every covers, and then you reach Satchkand with the true home. And then beyond that, there is even a regions, and the last one is Anami, which we cannot name. Anami means no name, because it's beyond any description. Maybe that's what we could call the self. In this tradition, they don't really use self as a word. But this Master Ishwapuri said even Sachkhand, which is said to be the true home, the highest, even if it would be real, it would be here now. So he said any high experience, state of consciousness is still temporary, is because only what is experiencing that, any state is a self. So he's talking like in Advaita, like Ramana or other teachers. So that's now what my experience. And so since 2 years I've been meeting few teachers of Advaita. The last one was Karl Renz, which is living here, maybe you know him, and he has been kind of bringing everything together with the previous teaching, so everything became like, and I could hear somehow what happened in my story is that this inner ear could hear I am that. Before it was more mental, because you hear, you understand, but when it is heard, then whatever, even there might still be vasanas or ego, but ego is seen as a phantom. That's how he would talk, Karl Renz himself. And instead of wanting to chase the ego and to kill the ego, when it is seen as a phantom, you don't need to kill the ego, just to see it as a phantom. And the whole frame of time and space, whatever experience is seen as a phantom. So the higher state of consciousness is also a phantom experience. Only the self, which is prior to any experience, with which the inner ear can hear you are that. When you can hear that, then you see that no experience can make you more or less what you are. The self has no idea of more or low or less. And then it's not describable because it's not heard with his ears or with his eyes. These eyes are divided in two and these ears in two. But the inner ear or the inner eye is single. So it's another perception which is not divided into subject-object. So when it's heard, then you just have to stay as you are, and whatever comes, karma, destiny, sense perception, whatever appears, fine, it's seen as an appearance. But then, this teacher, what he told me some years back, he told me something very important, which is still here present with me, is you have done many things in past life and in this life. What if from now you say, I don't do anything, I don't go anywhere, I let the body mind do whatever they have to do, but I'm done. So he's talking self to self. So the body mind will continue whether there is whatever appearing to happen, but then the self, you are that, and then nothing can touch that. So, but when it is heard, still, in my case, still there is some adjustment with the body mind, and it's, some people call this like balancing or whatever, but it's happening by itself, from what I see, because the ego is seen as an appearance, as a phantom. So I don't need to go back into the eye and to say I have to balance something, I have to adjust something. I'm done going into that. It is happening by itself. Just staying at that and let the adjustment, the balancing, whatever, the vasanas to dissolve or not, it's not my problem, I would say, as that, right? Otherwise, some teachers speak like I speak, but then they would say, you have to balance, to actualize, or to do something to be fully realized. I don't buy that, because who want to be fully realized? Who need to be fully realized? I. So you go back again in I. So for me, the whole question is about ownership. Who is this I who want to be enlightened, awakened, to be balanced, or to be this? That what you are does not need anything. You're already that fully, and you don't. What you are does not need anything to be balanced or adjusted or anything. So if you stay there, then balancing vasanas, ego, whatever. But I don't have to work on it. Otherwise, I go back into the ownership, and I have to do something. So that's in short. Any,
J'ai pas tout compris en fait.
but you can ask something. Tu peux demander en français si tu veux une question.
Non, mais je te laissais continuer parce que j'ai l'impression de comprendre, mais pas vraiment tout. Enfin, il y a des mots qui m'échappent.
But in reality, it's not really about understanding, because it's like one-to-one speaking, but zero to zero, the self to self is most important. Something underlying the one-to-one, zero to zero is, if the zero is meant to hear, the inner ear is meant to hear, then it's not about mental understanding. It seems so, but in fact, it's not. Right? It's just about being what you are.
Ouais.
But we have to, it's a way of approaching. We speak one-to-one to grasp attention in order to speak. But then if self to self, self recognize itself, then you understand my English enough?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I
yes.
understand. I try to ask question, but I find words like
In Russian? No, in English?
no, I can English. Okay, I can observe what's happening with my ego, with my sensation, with my mind when it's silent place. Yeah,
It what? It?
when it's happened in a silent place.
Yes.
Satsang and meditation, it's okay. But when I start conversation, when I start afraid of something, I completely forget about observe my ego. How to keep attention to observe what's happened with me. How to keep a
Yes.
distance.
So this is a question.
Yeah.
Yes. So you can practice. This is called practice of self-inquiry. So whenever you remember, you bring back attention like a string. You know, attention in time and space is expressed, so it's moving, right?
Yeah.
So from the center I is going toward objects, toward whatever is happening. As soon as you are aware of it, you pull back like a string. You pull back to the center I, right? And you stay there, feeling of I. And from there you observe what is happening, right?
Yeah, but I'm afraid about if I will search inside of me, something happened outside.
Oh, yes. So then, who is afraid? I. The same one. So look at the same one, I. It's always the same guy. There is only one guy to look, is I. So I fear, or I something, or I something else.
And I cannot control the situation.
Yes,
Outside.
yes. So who want to control? I. It's always the same one. So that's why it's so easy. You bring attention to I. The I want to control by fear. And from where is coming the fear? If you trace it back to the origin, when the word came out of the self, of the absolute, it came with a shadow. And the shadow is a fear, the fear of existing, the fear of being separated and to lose his oneness, you can say. So if you can trace back any fear and bring back to I and connect with this original fear. It's not just the fear, it's like a tree, you see, there is a trunk and branches. And you have a fear of walking in the night, in the dark, or fear of that, fear of this. But if you pull back the strings and to the trunk, The trunk of the tree is the fear of existing. So you have this feeling of this original wound. It's like, you know what is a wound? Like a pain. You have hurt with something, so emotional wound. Is the first original emotional wound. The fear of existing. I exist, so I fear. It's automatic. So, to counter that, I want to control everything. That's why this controller, we have to look at this one. This one who want to control all the time. This doership, this ownership of I, is, we can call it the controller. So fear, control. Fear, control. Like a couple, married couple, working together. So, because I feel I am the controller, I have a free will. But if you do self-inquiry, look well, question the existence of the I.
Who is one to make
If you see that the I is like a phantom, not having a real existence, you will see that there is no free will as well. So there can be control only when there is free will. But if you realize that there is no free will, then there is no need of control. There cannot be any control.
And do you call free will?
Oh, look at that. Be careful. Your food.
I cannot know.
Your food. If you have this.
Food. Oh, hide it. Qu'est-ce que tu comprends par free
C'est
will?
monkey. Sorry? Oui?
Qu'est-ce que tu entends par free will?
Le libre arbitre. Le libre arbitre.
Oh, many. Hide it.
that?
Inside your.
There are many monkeys visiting.
Inside. They will come to you.
Yes, sur le libre arbitre. Donc si on voit que le je est comme un fantôme qui n'existe pas vraiment, l'ego, donc forcément le libre arbitre est remis en question. Donc là, on dit que la vie se vit d'elle-même. Life is living itself. So the more you see that ego is not real, it's an appearance, then life is living itself. It's like an automatic process. Life living. Yes. So now we are more people
More
in
present
satsang.
moment.
Everyone attends cette song. There are people in this.
Yes, monkeys. So, could you follow? Yes. But this is for the one, what I call the one, right? Because the one think he is in danger if he's not controlling. But the zero, the absolute, the self that you are, is never in danger. It's like the screen on which the movie is shooting. So all the events are happening on the screen. But the screen cannot, like a movie, if you go to a movie, the screen cannot be touched by the fire or by the guns. You understand that? So same, the I is fearing to not control, lose control. This is for the one, but for the zero, the self, you are never in danger because the zero is dreaming, is the absolute dreamer dreaming that he is in danger. But maybe this body mind can be in danger, but not what you are. If you have this sense in you, then it might shift your perception somehow. You understand that?
Yeah.
Yes. It's like in the Bhagavad Gita, they say, it cannot be burnt, it cannot be killed, it cannot be raped, nothing can happen. Right. They are destroying the rooftop.
Tu peux faire un petit résumé en français de ce que tu viens de dire ou...
What did I say? I forgot.
Non, mais que en gros que le soi peut pas être...
Ah, le soi ne peut pas être... dans la Bhagavad Gita, on dit que le soi ne peut pas être brûlé, coupé, tué. C'est comme l'écran d'un film de cinéma. Tout est projeté sur ce film. Peut y avoir un feu, une guerre, des crimes, des viols. Mais quand tu éteins le film, rien ne s'est passé pour l'écran. L'écran, c'est comme le soi. Donc le soi, c'est notre nature véritable qui est en train de rêver que ceci se passe.
Après, moi, j'ai une question. Je vais la poser
Plus
en
fort,
français.
peut-être un peu plus
J'ai
fort.
une question, je vais la poser en français, ce sera plus simple.
Ouais. I would translate in English.
Ouais. Le mental me dirige toujours.
The mind is directing me.
Yes. Comment je fais comment je fais pour... j'ai l'impression qu'il faut vraiment une vie pour quitter ça, en fait.
How to do to control the mind or to direct the mind?
Pour le contrôler, justement. Lâcher le contrôle, quoi.
Or to, yes,
Comment
to release the control. So, how to release the control? You have to find out who is the controller.
Ouais, je vais contrôler.
Who is the controller? Qui est le contrôleur?
Qui est le contrôleur?
I, je. So put your attention on I. That because I is a center of perception of everything, right? So the only way is to bring back attention to I, the controller, and to question its existence. So you bring back the light of your awareness there on your I and stay there. This is who am I, or am I? And stay with that and grasp this sense of I in any way, physical, emotional, mental. You stay with this sense of I. And the more you look, the more it will appear as unreal. When your attention is out on outer object, then the I has full power. When you bring back attention from where it's coming from, then it losing its power. So by letting the attention going out, you give power to I. By bringing back attention to I, the power of I is diminishing by seeing it, right? Because attention, you could say that the self, the nature of self is the absolute attention, which does not need attention. L'absolu, le soi, c'est l'attention absolue qui n'a pas besoin d'attention. Mais le un, the one, is the relative attention who needs attention, right? So the attention, the relative attention is traveling in time and space. But the absolute attention is what we are, which does not need attention, which is not moving. The absolute attention is not moving. But when it is manifested attention, then it is divided in time and space, right?
I think it's interesting because most people are trying to pay attention to what doesn't move. They don't, like, often we think we have to pay attention to the silence, for example.
To the what?
Silence.
Silence.
For example. Or God, or whatever. Instead of paying attention to the I.
Yes, so you mean it's better to bring back attention.
I think it's
This is self-inquiry, we call this.
Yeah. No, but I believe that.
You like that?
Yes. Yeah, of course.
Yes.
But I have the thing sometimes that, for example, if I meditate, I also, during the meditation, I'm paying attention to the silence. And if somewhere the I, like thoughts or emotions are coming, I don't pay attention to that. I move into paying attention to the silence. So what you tells me makes a difference during my meditation as well. Practice this way. But
Yeah. I would say if you are fine. Sorry.
I mean, in daily life, I believe about, I think about observing this I. This is
A practice.
practice. But during the meditation, I'm just observing the silence. I'm not observing a lot, but I'm more into that. But and then if there are thoughts or if there are disturbance or movement, I don't pay attention to that when I'm meditation.
meditating, but I think that can be also interesting during the meditation.
Yeah.
And I didn't have this way of doing.
If you are not disturbed by the thoughts, then if you stay quiet, this is what Papaji was saying, this famous be quiet. So, but be quiet at that, not the real quietness is not the quietness of the mind, is being quiet in spite of talking or not talking, thinking or not thinking. It's not just when I'm quiet, when I meditate, and when I go out. No. So quietness of the self is prior to any. It's not an experience, right? So, but so if you are fine, you like to meditate, to sit. Then, if you are fine, you don't need to do self-inquiry. I would say, even in my case, I may use it sometime, self-inquiry, but if otherwise, just to be is enough. To be what you are in spite of any appearance, movement. Just be what you are.
And if it happens, it can be maybe interesting also to observe it if it happens and if it's disturbing.
Yes, in that case, yes. Then it's like a tool. So, because anyway, the one in the wheel of samsara will never, it belongs to the will. So the tendency of the one will always be to try to cancel his sense of separation. So this is the eternal story of Romeo and Juliet who want try to cancel it. But it's not possible. So it's the illusion that I made it, I am enlightened, I am awakened, I made it. It's like a claim made in the dream, but it's real, but in the dream. So people who claim that, for me, I don't claim anything. I rather call this one a.
I don't think, sorry.
I
I don't
would-
think any enlightened person is claiming it.
You know, from the experience I had in the past and with gurus like this, and still now we see the same stories always coming down to the same sex, money, power, and this and that and that. So my experience is that when you claim you have reached any state, you have to put a mask which is matching with that. You have to maintain it. It's like need of a self-maintenance of this pretension. As soon as you pretend to be someone enlightened or a master, like this person of the rooftop, he called me, without asking me, he put a spiritual divine master Satyam. I told him, no, I cannot accept that. Don't do that. You know? So whenever you claim anything, you have to keep the face. But as Karl Renz would say, but you have to fuck in the dark. See? That's what happens when you have to pretend something. But if you don't pretend anything, the self recognizes, the self is the self recognizes itself, but the one belongs to the will. And if it pretends to be awakened or enlightened, then there is some story, say like sages, who were in a state of samadhi for 500 years, and he was near the Ganga river, and then he heard a click. It was like what the Indian lady has in the ankle here, and then it was a dancer, beautiful girl. Then said, no, I should not open my eyes, and then suddenly again start to dance and said, oh, no, I cannot. 500 years samadhi, and then finally it is said they have many children.
Finally, he opened his eyes.
Yes, open his eyes, and just to express that anything you attain, just the idea of attaining something, it's necessarily in time and space. But the self cannot be attained because you are already that. So any idea of attaining, d'atteindre quelque chose, place ça dans l'espace-temps. So it's neti, not this. Whatever you can attain, no, I don't buy. It's easy, in fact. You are already that, and you cannot reach it because you are already it. So be it, and you cannot avoid to be it even. but just don't buy any ideas that you have to reach something to be yourself, or you have to kill something, or the ego, or this. To be what you are, you don't have to do anything. This is just when you can hear that, it's like, wow, I've been searching, practicing, doing this and that so much, and now I hear to be what you are, you don't have to do anything. It's not great. So for me, that's enough. And then when you hear that, whatever happened with this body mind, any adjustment, balancing, as I was saying in the beginning, yes, it will happen, but it's not affecting, it's only for the one. For what I am, it's not relevant. So it's easy, but for the mind it's complicated, because the mind cannot hear what is simple. So he want to have a goal and to practice for many years, to have an agenda and to reach some plane of consciousness and this, and where I am in a perfect control. You see, the highest awareness, I reached the perfect control, but the controller is still there. Awareness, total awareness, perfect control. This highest state of awareness, and this is the highest, the masters of awareness, but the controller is still there. This is not Sahaja yoga or state, which is a natural state, where the controller is seen as so. But so Sahaja is not a state. We say it's natural state, but it's the self, it's your true nature, we can say, which does not need, which has no preference to be there or there or there or there. You're always that, and it's not reachable. So there is no pretension that I am in whatever. Is it a little bit clear? Or you understand? Or
Yes, I understand.
you know that?
I mean, my mind understands this, but in the actual practice, I don't see such thing as freedom in me. Like, for me, this is not my. I mean, there is not a path for myself. It's just that for me, everything works. I love God. When I surrender to Him, magic happens. I love Vipassana, for example. So just what you're saying for me doesn't work. I am a mixture of everything. Because God is everything. I cannot say what this is God is not. So everything works.
I hope that what I said does not work, because for me nothing works. Nothing works. Whatever you will do, you will fail, because it belongs to this dream of time and space. So whatever you try to achieve in that, you can only fail. But to be what you are, you cannot fail, because you are already
But
that.
you already are, yeah. You
Yes.
don't need to practice what you have. You cannot stop practicing what
Yes.
you are.
So only there you cannot fail. In being what you are, you can fail. Anything else, you will fail.
But this is the reality. Nothing can be changed, so nothing can need to be learned about it.
But what? Sorry.
Yeah, I finished.
No. I'm thinking what would you say to somebody? Like, okay, we are. Okay, everybody
I am.
is. I am. You are. Is. But so you say don't have to do anything to be.
To be.
Of course. I mean, but if I have difficulties, if for example I have fears or anything that makes that at this point I don't feel who am I? What would you advise at this time?
Then you can do self-inquiry. This is for, if you differentiate between 0 and 1, just a concept, maybe the last concept, but 0, you are already that, right? And you are not in danger. But the 1 is an appearance in the dream. So if the 1 is experiencing fear, you can use a tool within the dream. It's like you are in the matrix and you are dreaming, right? And in the dream you have been given some tools. So use any tool in the dream to feel more comfortable in the dream. But the 0 knows that it's a dream, right? So it's not in danger, but the one will use maybe I will use self-inquiry. So bring back your attention here, or you sit for meditation, or bhakti, or anything. But all these tools belong to the dream for the one. So use it as one, but be aware if you can hear it that as zero or self, you're already perfect, you're already that. So you're not in danger, you're just dreaming that you are in danger, or that you are fearing, or that you're separated. It's a game. So in this game, you're allowed to use tools. So use tools as part of the game.
What do you think about meditating then? Because then when we meditate, it's tool.
Yes, same.
So-
Same. What you are does not need to meditate, right? It's perfect. But the one may need that, or temple, or whatever, or bhakti, or something else. So use the tool. Just imagine like that. You are in a three-dimensional movie, a multi-dimensional movie, and this actor has been given some tools to play in this dream. Sometimes you suffer, sometimes you enjoy, sometimes you want to not feel the suffering, or this, or you want whatever. So use any tool. But this is only belonging to the dream. Then if this is clear, it's easier. You say, oh, I'm just playing, playing Romeo that is yearning for Julieta or God or whatever.
But there is a purpose for this play.
The purpose in the dream.
For this dream, there is huge purpose, and it's not just be, because that you are already. It's to realize that you are that. And if you are just saying, okay, I know what I am, but you still have not realized that, you're still on the path.
But the purpose is for the one in the dream. Zero has no purpose.
Zero is waiting for the one to realize that he is zero.
The one cannot realize that he is zero.
There is nothing away from zero. One is the other phase of.
Yes.
It's the
Yes, but it belongs to the
energy impulse of zero to look in the mirror.
yes. You can say like that, but I prefer to express that the one belongs to the will of samsara and cannot leave the will.
But what is Samsula Samsara? It's part of the zero. There cannot
It's an
nothing
appearance. It's an
away from
appearance,
God.
but it belongs to the appearance. The one belongs to the appearance, but that when the danger that the one pretends that he can be awakened, that is dangerous for the. So I prefer to cut it and to say the one is belonging to the will. Only the zero can recognize itself. This is what Ramana said. The self can recognize itself. It's not that the one can recognize, oh, I am the self. Then it is again a personal story. I am the self. The I will say, I am the self.
The I knows that he's not the self.
So it's,
He's separate. That's why he wants to go
Yes.
back to.
yes. But this, either you see as you seem to express, or that the one is already as one will always have this tendency. As a one, it will always have the tendency to try to cancel this sense of separation. So there perpetual inquiry about itself, about its nature, but it will never end. It's more like the zero recognize itself, but the one will endlessly run after the stopping of that, but it will never stop because it never started. But the one belong to this idea of it started, so it will end. The one belong to that, but only the zero can recognize itself. This is what I call the inner ear can hear right now. In spite of the one being separated, the zero recognizes itself. In spite of the one being separated, the zero recognizes itself. It's not that the one recognizes itself as zero. That's for me very different. So just be what you are in spite of whatever happened in the dream. The one will continue to try to reach something. Otherwise, you have the idea that at some point you will reach a point that where the one will say, "Oh, I am realized, I am that, and this
No,
is.
it's not that I will reach point. The point is already that you are that. But as you remove all the impurities that hide the truth, you will come closer and closer to the state of know who you really are, and until you will get to that point, as Buddha, God, and many other Buddhas in the past.
But who will do that? Who will remove the impurity?
The law of nature. It is
But who needs that? Okay, I will ask you like this: who needs that
who needs that?
to purify this? Who needs this to be taken away, and who needs?
This
Who needs that?
separateness, this sense of, you said in this, well, whatever you practice here, you call it the I.
Mhm.
And this I wants to get rid of these impurities.
Yes,
Because then it becomes transparent and see through.
yes. So that's
And
what.
if it's dirty,
Yes.
you don't see through.
So if you let instead of letting the eye trying to purify everything and to be in this process, instead of that, the direct path is to bring back attention to the eye. The eye is a controller who think he need to purify something in order to be itself, but you are already yourself. But the eye has the idea it need to purify something in order to be yourself, but it's not needed. The self does not need. I'm saying that.
Okay.
Yes. So it's always questioning who need to control or what, or to do something about something. Who needs that? Always I. So that is the real self-inquiry, to question who is this one who pretends that something has to happen in order for me to be what I am. When you cut this, because it's always postponing, in the religion, they say, if you are a good guy, then you will reach heaven. Or the Buddhists, you will reach nirvana. Or it's always postponing in time and space. This is an indirect path. It may take forever to reach that. You need to purify, you need to practice in order to. It's placing it as a goal, right? But the direct path is stop postponing. You are that now. When the mind is enough tired to practice, to do, then the inner ear can open, and here you are that now. It's not postponing in time and space, because what you are absolutely that perfection now. So when this inner ear can hear it, it is heard. Otherwise, the one will always think he needs to practice, purify, and get rid in order to postponing. So when you want to, when it is heard, and you say, no, I'm tired to postpone. But no, but you are free. You are free to see as you want and to do as you like. So if you want to purify something, welcome. You have your own master. So continue to purify yourself. Yeah. Is when the system is enough tired of this seeking, postponing, practicing, and this is like what we call hopelessness. When you are totally hopeless, then this giving up totally. And then this is when the inner ear stop to postpone. You stop to postpone. Because the ego is tricky. He postpones in order to keep his own existence alive. So by keeping the idea of postponing and putting in time and space, the I is keeping, I don't want to question my own existence, so I want to postpone. Always postponing. But the real direct path is to question the existence of the I. And then when it is seen, then you stop postponing. You are that. No, you don't need to do anything about anything. But the one may continue to do something in the, but it has been heard, so it's not explainable. It's not explainable. So we can fight and argue and discuss, but it's of no value because it's not something, for me it's not something mental. So we cannot, it's useless to fight about this discussion.
And why do you do your practice? If you are already there, why you do the sound and light meditation?
I don't do so much, but sometimes. But it's the one again, to say I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that would be another control. So the one may do whatever.
So the same.
Yes.
I know who I am.
Yeah.
But I decide also I want to do other things. Like that's why we exist, to move.
Yes. So the one is continuing, right? In the dream is continuing that, but maybe the difference would be that it's not it's a illusory need for the one in the dream. For me, it's seen like that, right? But it's seen as not necessary. It's not to realize what I am. I don't now. Before, yes, I was sitting or self-inquiry or anything in order to realize who am I. Now it's not the case. This is a difference. I don't mind to sit or to do anything, but the idea of reaching, that I need to reach myself or anything like this, is gone. That is the main difference. And that's a big difference. No, anything is happening, the one is doing, but without any intention to reach anything. Or the need to purify or anything like this. That is different.
So, for you, what's the purpose of life? Of this life here?
For me, it's a game. In India, they call it the lila. So the self, it's a self-entertainment. So the self is, the absolute dreamer is dreaming this entertainment.
Why do you think there is? I mean, do you think there is a meaning, or it's just that you came here to live this dream and that's it?
For the meaning would be for the mind, but if there is any meaning above the mind, we cannot grasp or explain with words. So it's not a meaning, I would say. So I'd rather give up on trying to find a meaning with words, because I would say what we could say is that to experience love, then the self, which is not divided, to experience is dividing itself into two, to have this desire and to have the experience of love in a separate dualistic world. So it's to have an experience. So otherwise it's like prior to that we cannot. It's not an experience. We cannot say anything. I would rather say that we cannot say anything, but we can speak about this experience. So to have an experience as a game or lila, the lila of God, but the purpose of evolution and all this, I will not go into that. So we are nearly on the same boat. I don't know, what is your name?
Julia.
Julia, we are nearly on the same boat, just little.
We are on the same.
Yes, but in the way of expressing. I mean. Any question? Une question?
Comment dire, en fait, de ce que j'ai compris, en fait, il y a besoin de rien faire. Le soi est déjà là. Sauf que dans la vraie vie, par exemple, moi je souffre de relations, j'ai des difficultés de relations avec des gens, avec moi-même, quoi, avec ma propre vie.
So
Je laisse faire.
So he said, as I understood, there is nothing to do, but as self, I'm already the self, but as a person, I suffer in the world. So, no, as I said before, you can use any tool. Tu peux utiliser des outils.
Ouais.
Therapy, self-inquiry, meditation, anything. So, it's a double sword, like talking one-to-one to the person, but also zero to zero. So the most important, if the zero, the inner ear can hear, I am that, then this is the root, this is the core, right? If you can hear, I am that. But then at the same time, the one may do something. Meditation, self-inquiry. So search, I would advise you to search, seek, wherever you feel pulled, go there and try to do something. But at the same time, if you can keep this double message, you're already that. So it's double message. You understand? You are both. You are the self and you are the self manifested also, who feels imperfect or cutted, separated, and so on. So you can do anything, but the deepest release or rest is a self-recognition, because it is then the movie is seen as a movie. If you're too much engrossed in the movie, identified, then you're more suffering because there's more identification, right? So the root is the zero, the self-recognition. But to prepare that somehow, then you may do something. It's like when the inner ear cannot really hear, then you have to do something, as you were saying, practicing meditation, searching for this and that. So, but self-inquiry is a very good base because it's very simple. You can do 24 hours nearly. You bring back attention to I, to the one with trouble. I have difficulty with others, you said, in communication, relation. So I. Any trouble, it's always I. So you always bring back attention to I. Self-inquiry is very powerful. And if you cannot do it, then you might do some other preparatory practice or therapy or meditation or anything. Yes. Or otherwise you might be inclined for bhakti also, to surrender to a higher power because you see that you feel helpless. Surrender to God's will. Se soumettre à la volonté divine. C'est another. But you can practice both. So the where you are at, I would say that the inner quest, the inner fire for freedom, use this fire and direct your attention towards this inner fire for freedom. Dirige ton attention vers le feu intérieur pour cette liberté. Et va n'importe où, fais une priorité. Make a priority of this quest for freedom. So it's like gathering your attention to the center and stay with this fire for freedom. And this will lead you, it will attract any teacher, any practice, anything you need. So you don't need to think too much about what you need. Concentrate on your inner fire for freedom. And say, I want to be free. It starts like that, right? So, and this will attract whatever you need. It's like magic. Good. So yes, just be strong in your call. You search for freedom, and make this fire bigger, maybe even. Yes, but sincere fire for freedom, and then everything will come.
When you say freedom, you're thinking about being free from the self, not the self, the I, as you said, that because in one way, I am.
Yes, so it is
So
addressed
if
to
I-
the one.
Yes, so
Yes.
I am. So if I say I'm willing freedom,
Hmm.
I'm willing freedom.
Just to start with,
Yeah.
right? It's not addressed to the self.
Yeah.
So it's addressed one
It's a
to one.
tool.
It's a tool for the one because it has to start with something. The self does not, even if the other day I was saying to someone, I could see that the inner ear was hearing I am that, but it was feeble. Like in the forest, you are lost, but you hear a sound from far, but it's heard. At least it's heard. I am that. Oh, something in you hear that. It's feeble, but the mind is covering and this and that. But so you can start like this. Something is hearing, but still you need to use this fire for freedom at the same time. So it's not white and black. It's not white or black. It can be heard, but not strong enough. So you may do anything. Use this fire, and so go around, travel or not, and this, and you will get what you need. The sincerity of the quest is all what you need, I would say. The sincerity of the quest. And this sincerity, this honesty will bring what you need. You don't really have to, yes, it's like feel like you're a magnet and be confident, and you will attract everything on your way. So is it good enough, or any question before to leave? No question? No? So should we finish here? We are good? Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.